Most people think overthinking is a thinking problem. It isn't. Overthinking is a resolution problem. Your brain isn't running too many thoughts because it's broken or anxious by nature. It's running them because it hasn't received a signal that the loop is allowed to close. And until that signal arrives, the loop continues. Automatically. Relentlessly. Often invisibly. Your brain has one core directive beneath every decision. Reduce uncertainty to a survivable level. Not to zero. Survivable. And when a decision carries enough perceived weight, social cost, financial risk, identity consequence, your brain classifies it as unresolved threat. Not danger. Unresolved. And unresolved threats don't get filed away. They get recycled. This is the cognitive loop. Your brain surfaces the decision, evaluates it, finds no clear resolution, and returns it to the queue. Then surfaces it again. Then again. Not because you're weak, not because you're indecisive, but because the loop was never given what it actually needs to close. Most people try to stop overthinking by thinking harder. Better arguments, more research, longer lists of pros and cons. But that's adding input to a system that isn't waiting for more input. It's waiting for permission to stop. Here's the advanced breakdown. 1. Your brain confuses complexity with danger. A decision doesn't need to be objectively dangerous to trigger overthinking. It needs to feel unresolvable. And complexity mimics unresolvability. Too many variables, too many outcomes, too many people affected. Your brain reads that complexity as a signal that more processing is required. So it keeps processing. The solution isn't simplifying the decision. It's narrowing what your brain actually needs to evaluate. Most decisions have one core variable driving the real uncertainty. Find that variable. Reduce everything else to background. 2. The cost of being wrong is being overestimated. Your brain runs a quiet risk calculation every time it considers closing a loop, and it's systematically biased toward overestimating negative outcomes. This is not a flaw. It's survival logic running in the wrong context. The advanced move is to force an honest audit. Not what's the worst case, but what's the realistic recovery path if this goes wrong. Because once your brain sees a recovery path, the threat classification drops and the loop loses its grip. 3. Perfectionism is a loop extender, not a quality standard. Your brain uses the possibility of a better option to justify continued processing, because closing the loop means accepting that a better option might exist and was not chosen. That's a small identity threat. The reframe is this: a good decision made now and adjusted later outperforms a perfect decision made never. Your brain needs to accept closure as a form of progress, not surrender. 4. Emotional state determines loop speed. Overthinking doesn't happen at a constant rate. It accelerates when your nervous system is already elevated. Poor sleep, background stress, unresolved tension from unrelated situations. When cortisol is high, your brain's threat sensitivity increases, which means more decisions get flagged as unresolved. This is why the same decision that felt manageable Monday feels impossible Thursday. The decision didn't change. Your internal state did. Managing the loop sometimes means managing the environment before touching the decision. 5. The loop closes through commitment, not certainty. Overthinking doesn't end when you find the right answer. It ends when your brain receives a credible signal that the decision has been made and acted upon. Thinking about deciding is not deciding. Writing down a decision is not deciding. Deciding is a behavioral signal, a small, committed action in the direction of a choice. Even one step, because that action tells the brain the loop is no longer needed. Resolution isn't a thought. It's a move. Overthinking isn't a personality trait. It isn't a sign that you care too much or think too deeply. It's a system running without a clear-off switch. And once you understand what the system is actually waiting for, you stop trying to think your way out of the loop. You give your brain what it needs to close it: a narrowed variable, a realistic recovery path, a committed action. And then the loop ends. Not because you forced it, because you finally gave it a reason to stop.